Dear white therapist, you are all terrible therapists. You are all racists, and some of you, I assume, are good people. Oh, I can see it now. One of the academics has pressed the emergency meeting button because one of the blacks is seeming sus, and you'd like to call a meeting to discuss the word racist and how much it hurts your feelings. To be therapists, you really are some sensitive people, but I've been listening and I've heard your cries and I'm here to answer them. I am the potter and you shall be my alabaster clay. Now that I've fully removed my psychiatric shackles, you can take my hand as I guide you through the difficult process of publicly acknowledging your complicity in systemic racism, which you have participated in by your rendering of meaningless diagnoses, reliance on theories devoid of any sense of justice, and by profiting from the suffering of black minds and black bodies. How will I do this? I'm not telling, and it's already started. What's great is that you will just let me, because if you don't, then you will look racist. And we all know how much you hate what you are, racist. Like the magical Negro stereotypes of your youth, I will give of myself to help guide you through a problem that you yourself created and then disappear once I feel my work is complete. Except I won't disappear. I will continue to make you uncomfortable by attending your conferences, by being present on your committees. My rhetoric will intrude even the safest of your safe spaces. Oh, anti-racist therapist, you genuinely believe that one day this will all blow over and some other issue will divert my attention. Look at the things he stopped and started already, you say to comfort yourselves. He might be pathologically impulsive. I'm sure they all process their racial trauma differently. You don't understand that my goal is nothing less than your public shame and embarrassment as I place you in situations that expose your covert racism for all to see. Oops, I said I wouldn't tell. I guess that makes me a liar. My mom used to say that the devil is a liar and then beat me. All of you are complicit. Public acknowledgement of your sins is an appropriate, albeit expected gesture, but nothing less than the restorative justice in the form of massive restructuring of our mental health system will absolve you of your sins. I know that cognitive behavioral therapy, which works very well as a manual for gaslighting minorities, says that this is an example of black and white thinking. Suppose you are a particularly racist, which is synonymous with objective in this context. In that case, you might say it's even evidence of splitting, as in borderline personality disorder, but what you can't say is that it isn't true. I've been to your conferences where you set up a panel, call it anti-racist, and then sit in the Zoom meeting turning off your cameras, thereby creating a sea of white faces mimicking clan sheets. Sure, you can say you wanted to hold space for the presenters, but I know either I have schizophrenia or your behavior was a conscious manifestation of unconscious shame that you call anxiety because you can't stand seeing a black face tell you the truth. I know how hard it must be for you to come face to face with the fact that the very techniques you use to help those poor marginalized people do nothing more than re-traumatize them, and that many clients will be better off watching a YouTube video than spending 50 minutes in a room with someone whose emotions are governed by the new theory they just paid $5,000 to the therapy equivalent of a snake oil salesman to teach them, all the while refusing to give more than a 10% tip, as many of you do therapy with clients in the morning who then deliver your food in the evening as they struggle to make ends meet while you profit from their suffering. I've nodded my head in case consultations as I watched you auto-fellatiate yourselves while discussing how you were able to get your black client to open up in the first session, seemingly ignorant of the power dynamics involved and how they were simply being traumatized in your office as you, a white therapist, placed them in a situation where they are unaware that telling you, no, I don't want to talk about that with you, is a valid answer, and you motivationally interviewed and emotionally raped them, all while calling it treatment and getting paid for it. While working at a juvenile prison, I drank myself into an alcohol-fueled depressive rage as I watched you advocate for chemical restraints for juvenile prisoners for such grand displays of symptomology as calling you, and I quote, stupid ass cracker, which you were, or a racist fuck, which you are. I was ashamed that I participated and profited in a system that punished children for saying the things that I wanted to say. You see, as long as you continue to give out meaningless diagnoses under the guise of treatment facilitated by using oppressive language to describe the experience of viewing human and non-white, you have been, are, and will be racists. Do you want to know how to be a true anti-racist therapist? Your emotions must be recalibrated, and in order to do so, I must make you feel powerless. Only then can I mold you into a less racist version of yourself, moving you up on the spectrum of humanity to where racism doesn't inspire curiosity, but outrage, as it would to anyone who is not distancing themselves from reality by viewing the world through the lens of the academic. Who am I to judge you? I am your students, your employees, and your clients. I am anti-racist energy, but you will call me Mr. Horde. I will continue to make you uncomfortable at your conferences, and by being present on your committees, I will intrude the safest of your safe spaces. Bonus round. Do you or someone you know have a blank stare Sigmund Freud? Please take the burden of my emotional labor and let me know if I'm being anti-racist enough therapist and they have the audacity to ask you how it feels to be black in America. Send them this video and ask them how they felt when they listened. You'll know if they're lying. Toodaloo!